on Sushirao. But as I said, we are so now appreciative of what people have done for you. Even God will not bless you. Even Yanko Problema and Yama better to Abrabo bedroom one tears. Any panama, no, okay, who will be no make us here. And Dofa, maybe Madame say, okay, I can the 2 diamonds, so me, I'll be there for the 2 and on money for any day. Be that's a pass, so I appreciate it. Young Queen, your horse say, yeah, MPP are back to, yeah, I dare and a hard drink, a we are born in one sense, and the cranny say, elections here, the national executive, acting national chairman, but the general secretary lawyer Justin Kudia from Pong, and all the national office, Madame Talata, so by all the national offices, DNA Mono. On the elections committee set it up, mandate, general secretary, the show Monsani say, make sure say, elections never cost be free and fair. In the end, the mandate of the people should reflect. Said the beya yenya to abani we are asumdue eni nkabomu beba because yemfa ne se me call elections na say to say mafia honorable and their peer could be bomb me meribi me police station youth organizer me do na me dini album no say yemfa asumdue ma. And one thing that is so critical in every election is the album editor, and especially when we are going for an election, amendments will gonna former MMDC, former PCs, former MPs, all these former constituency executives, all these former foreign now data. No, every constituency is no region. No. It's good to say. Moshe yana secretaries and IT chairman woman and all those access to the platform. Into what party decided they say Arbon na one because Arbon a 2 vote. First vote the additions near the other count and at the next vote the one idea to constituency the to region they are called 2 MPs they are to presidential. Into these 2 Arbons na eba be adwuma so as such yenko to every region. Then when you enter into the region, you meet every constituency. In constituencies, you be share council of elders chairman, constituency chairman, secretary, IT, research and elections, women organizer, all these relevant bodies, together with as candidates in elections, NIPA 5, no more representative of constituency BMO. So of the Ejumano was simple. Say you bedua additions na mo de buy, you project it. Na parties who data or entebia. They say yaba yamfa na say be for one constituency near for old officers near projected will be RS officers and a former MPs and a former MMDCs. So where queries are raised they say okay as way no any former constituency executive on count and the ebi abahen and nipa na say no ka 2014 and 2010 ho near so ya be national 2010 album or national 2010 album constituency ni police station ni bibia o me ban teacher say from 1992 airban. The data is there. The data is there. Yeah, okay, I'm saying 92 data na any. Okay. And the constituency here na any data no. What we do is that you peke enipa be 3. No mokasa executive structure no. Okay. Then we place call to them in the presence of everybody. Okay. And they place a call now. Then the majority because one constituency am call you see. Na woman be woman also na first woman organizer of the constituency. And a former constituency secretary was no in 96 Udia Bananim also woman enyo no. Okay. And a current for say enyo no. So the decision was that I placed calls to executives na was that time former for that year now no more can once no because I'm say former woman organizer first woman organizer no more can dey wo enyo no. Okay. And the place he call no to those executives it came out clear say it was not the woman and we extracted her name from the data. Okay. Ebi wo so a obekọ no because one constituency you hwe mu no na nipa be 3 or 4 bi no mu yeah, come to 2014, be a 2014 album. So what I do was that I go back to all previous albums to verify near checking in to the present to see say genuinely because we be no felon mistakenly in the ref in the year of service. Now be our correct mano. So when you go into the data, it says okay 2014 for the quarter about Tamale together with the polling station. So when you compare together with the Omodia Bana and the only Mbia no near Makina in the frame and to the woman genuinely ebi and year no 2010 and 2014 but all train or because NMPP so no we started having, apart from assistant secretaries, it was after 2010 amendment, and you deputy constituency officers. It is heavy, yeah, the Tanamico deputy youth organizer 96 and 2004. But first and foremost, no, and what do you do? What you do is that you refer to the old album to see to it, say, I'm passing the panel. Maybe are not a womb, but mistakenly they are all feeling maybe a mistake.
Okay. No,
it is all cross check
deputy.
Exactly. All cross check here. If you have a cross check here, you know, maybe I'm not an officer after 2010. Then genuinely, you know, I jatum. Mekai say, this exercise and so was one of the exercises. My who and Crawford woo a wabonum. And the Mekai say one constituency be say you call any me boarding say okay. Or mama you bought you put a list of deaf people in the constituency. And the officer said, oh, they say chairman is all that we all do be a and I one candidate bakuni agent pejan and say or asem can am so because we are one family we want pay me so obey adwuma na wie na abekona fe ekire nsem bibiri edi opejan and sada na me frɛ no and also okay omo constituency say chairman so be ngondo okra list of any 17 omawu and I'm say okay any omodi ni project edi obodi no and I'm a mommy IT officer no eyi nipa no and no project here and the project na one of the officers guys chairman nenya we na yako na ya okodi asedi asama for two sikagu so no our chairman no krewu. So in the end what we went through the data, it was indeed true that the 17 people had passed on.
Wow.
So
maybe possible na nipa 17 but chairman say obi enu.
Na so offer say wow we need to say juma we dey say I know that say wow we contest so you have a duty to say what will represent a nipa the local contest no also ye agent or no. You have a duty say yes also say go mo any den edao say yes make sure say you not sleep on the job because say kwekwe na oba na also new data na concerns for better now say it will be angu ya then how do you challenge the status quo?
Yeah,
and to me per se any part of the buy nyina verify who say indeed all these 17 people no then we are mandate. And I checked from the 4 regions. I mean,
because for a chairman,
yeah, now
17. Now chairman what was a had to be a there you one day say wow agents you know. Oh, you know, my doctor about me, Agyapong, my brain, champon, we didn't mama a you have to be vigilant. Are you getting it? Because we'll be out 1 year or best way. The guys are one of the consoles here checking in the part 8 and every. Me in the 4 regions I'm here more Juma saying me and me data no any 518 and every. 518. So what period ban from Yamfane say so we picked from the Arbon that why year no 2022 no to date that no until we picked maybe I come constituency you verify to see say throughout the Arbon more women genuinely apart in the area then we go to 1 or more maka baby no 2 those who have forfeited their membership. And those who have forfeited their membership, because I say one constituency say, you call na constituency executives need the evidence. Ma memo ora mo data kwaba na mema nto as open ya kwaba.
Yeah.
Okay. Boko yeah. Kwabere my rundown ewo album na omo koye mo. Ono call 4 constituencies.
4 regions.
4 regions. And I can say ono kwan ho over 500 and na a free mu. Now one of the constituencies chairman this will be a say any person 17
na obada bay obesa way so if first akwanya su na yenchia yetie for na yafefo ina jamo frame na me
okay when man conclude
onyam kenyame
on conclude
the guys one constituency see na obi constituency executives need the data evidence about nipa na campaign ma independent candidate almost the pictures videos ni social media post ni WhatsApp status or proposing akwa no kra ma na ko easy constituency for that evidence nyina aba and na opposing side say because the person was not giving hearing at that time and there has not been any petition on him they can't take the person out. In the one I'm a referee. I have to do that. I think I'm for the constitution, MPP's constitution, on forfeiture of membership. And the constitution clear say when it comes to forfeiture of membership, the moment I become independent,
and also be support to independent candidate, automatically you forfeit your membership. Automatic doesn't mean that the person deserves hearing. Automatic means that the moment I be na free party no.
The chiro was in biano.
Who will be biano aka. After me we no. Omo nyina we anu aba na obecham say in fact you've been fair, you've been this, you've been that, because in the end we want one political party. There are instances obi omo the list aba me confirm evidence bra. When evidence now ma the other one you can't come and blame me because we be supporting independent candidate. No yeah me kai say one constituency be say man be by no say 1990 I no be din wom 1992 no yeah constituency officer. And agents, two agency projectors protesters say he is not part of those who served around that time. And didn't buy no to propose say no or count. And I'm so okay. Say and when with the counter argument about so for us to believe that indeed no account no of evidence may serve as deputy protocol director of the party. Say 20 years back. Now say yes here evidence to prove say na me can one. I should be able to provide an evidence to show that na me can be. Inti asa say any panel there me their stories better na me yina to nche. Until so be prove say no can be no. Your friend no inti enkomo di any course one na me phone na me friend first no correct na me say constituency executives na na job na me executive.
Okay.
Are you getting it? Okay. So in the end exercise na ekoye no so bi ama na ni da ho ye. And I mean, we are making sure say those who had died, those who had forfeited their membership, those are we all who report to the agents need say no for my candidate because me issue or chana kube we no and now say or chana say make I say on Tescon Arbor one of the regions I coming more region needing for sick and regional akwane buy or buy no not or challenging obi edina shame as president. Into oba no cry video no so na san obeka san obebo video na answer say no no say wa ko school mu akwa interview Tescon executives ni nyina akwa na nkan wampa and no boy say o call no interview or mun executives no we see na me organizer we see na me secretary we see na me president enipa na omo de kire say o kan no say enye ono a yenim no enti when you have these overwhelming evidences then you can take a decision on it and together with ye nyina. So I think that is a good process akoso say one and who the death in every constituency every agents have it in the election did they need draw when I saw your what MOB who say meaning say they are per the elections committee today no and Thursday no some of the money be my candidates ni na no ma call akohwem then they will come and meet and then conclude on the final album. Okay. So every report everything I say candidates ni omo agents were there it was done. And I believe say and SOB and Amo and Idaho. Me kura manager say last week say elections committee holding a press conference no more addressing variety of issues including say proxy no.
This time proxy in seven so.
Okay, exercise now for any day. Exercise now for any day for me it's a worthy exercise and obi oba e bia can attest to the fact say na free and fair. Imagine say baby to say omo enti sunyani is ye duru no. No BM say how me handle issue no. As a constituency chairman and the opposing sides you have a bomb about say no. And I'm saying no. At times the law is there, but at times you have to use common sense to get the results. You hear your cramp even Obi will say no. For the 4 regions I went, Western, North, Afo, Bono and Bono East. Baby are making sure say asumdwe be den ebeba.
Me da se kwabra jo ahome proxy hu se me kire ebeba be di hu ko san say a cha bi na o ka che say baby ya na issues so e proxy e no wan say Joe say usu of all people or stampo the authority in the committee ni say nya de on be use proxy bia ne kai ni nsem wana won me kan proxy hu fa ebi no no beto ana nkrofo ato ne hu nsensem e kire be di san komo cancer ma yonko ye ni nura na esi ye ene the youth ni nyuma sem ye me say na esi ye na ahomete but onyankopon so ka bibi e de akire o man ni nyina afi say we crowd an open na me fin say ye Ghana ha nyina no mbe hia wo elwak say ye Greater Accra nko a ye enkran region no eno eba be hia ye owu aba mama akoma ensia menim say oni ora kan na di nkomo anopai afasa asem no menim say ebe ye ne ya papa na wan hwe kra na ne to a wo ye no ne kasa be ko fom san say wote se be mu bi ahwere ne nkwasa na ha no wo fa nsem de free fan
yo edi kan no ma fasa akwanya iso na menchia yetiefo ene yahwefo yinara na yensan na onyame ase senra so ode ye koye 4 constituencies ya ye started wo nsawam ye kwa amanase ye ba suhum ya ye ko wiye wo chebi na danko akufo-addo niko na time na honorable kasa na mu ne nya information say ne asi wo elwak enie enunti no he made a statement say ne asi ye no nanka ni kwan say asi na say o oman mu na say emabunu eni adwuma ya na obi apese okosoja na bibisa esia a loss of human life na the country be also enipa free musa no it affects the country in terms of BBR. And or you're worried as usual. Say you saw COVID, the behavior.
Yeah.
You who tama a just told me circle and still toy. We saw his behavior. Tembia to wrench and beto Ghana biano. You who ne the kasayemu any anamoa or two towards that. And the honorable being a patriotic Ghanaian and a nationalistic person, na osan sro nyame no wa badaye no. He passed a comment and said, this is quite unfortunate. And to empathize with the families and the country as a whole. And I mean, who say, you see, say, a numa, a doors no mind more. So this is needless. After all these years, yeah, government in, government out. I say shock loss in, shock loss out. No. Ghana, but this type of stampede and the rush to look for a jumano. We cry near Juma or so or co soldier near training. No one the soldier, no one is car, no the abon bra. A population of a country around. Now I will come to your analysis. A population of a country a year about 33 million. Near fancy obo motoaba a year it was 18 million plus near about 18 million. When we say government, a high nipa less than 200,000. Government high nipa 20,000. But every government be a wabebiano. The trump card and it's the private sector is the engine of growth. Initiatives bang in the Ghana government, because the Ghana government, I'm not referring to this particular government, successive governments, initiatives bang on Modia Bar, etimia be economy no so much, say, ye mabuna ya more education, no, omanya juma ya more options to choose. By sorry, we preach. The private sector is the engine of growth. Was it Development Bank? Yeah, I am from what the private sector, which is the engine of growth to grow. Not Development Bank, Afasika. Now, or they are commercial banks at the rate of 18%. Now, commercial banks, also they a because almost they have to make profits. Near the private sectors, yeah, they more 24%, 25%. How do you expect the private sector to grow? Until the honorable Ken and Ra, Ekasayemu, of fa bibia, mami biye, abetie, ya packaging the kama. No, the action said this is from Tamale. Obi used to share butter, Eddie Jela, Eddie Jari. No, that share Tamale or Tamale. No, the actually be a Bolga, no, the actually. Honorable Ken already has linked them to African stores in New York, Cantamanto store in New York, other African stores in Cleveland, Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio, in Washington, D.C., while building the market linkage among and on making statements say, Sancrofoy almost starting marketing getting raw materials and also buying to be so mostly. Until he made it point blank, and he has been saying this, I will give them loans without interest.
Yeah.
And he said, because the private sector is the engine of growth, and you no far found. That's what. So this is the time for Ghanaians and delegates to sit up. And you can see from his body language. Yes, to sit up and say they're happy. Why should we lose 6 people?
A man who has 6.
With the critical ICU. Why should this happen? At Elwak Stadium, a capacity of maximum of 15,000? Rushing in over 20,000 plus, 25,000 plus. What do you expect? This is telling you, you see, a member of Ghana Hano eager to work. They are eager to work. Delegates listen. Eager to work, willingness to work, and ability to work. But the question therefore is, if you want to work here, and why you far, you free suhuma, you coachebi. You drew a picture near Buru, left and right, we show the greeneries. If you look at the geography, Potrasi geography, now where the mountains, a Tiwa forest, near Daho, now where the beauty of it, now man for 200, a man for a Jumanye. Now we drew a picture near the tomato, is all forms of food, a guho, na adia san, a jaho, na a proper, Honorable Ken, who said more ya.
And opena me busa lawyer Alex Jemfi said, do we have to slow down how I produce our graduates because many who are now said, let me ask you the same.
No, we don't have to slow down. Every nation depends on human capital. Human capital is very important. And he said, who can say who slow down production? When I say production of human capital. That's not the answer. The answer is, let's grow the human capital at the rate at which we are growing. Okay. But let us industrialize.
And no, as on my tiasiano.
Yeah, I was saying, and no, force delegates where Ghana first take Kasao. Yeah. Until papa member no so kakra say the process is fair. Say no can ye yes, the more canon ye say you as a case studies. Generally, so process is fair. Ye dey can you and say yeah. At the end of the day, of all the processes, let's
address the.
No, I'll come back. Yeah. So me of all the process at the end of the day, if at the end of the day the results now if it is not transparent, the say homo to ensure say at the papa happen. Fair, no. Until I'll come back. Now,
industrializing.
Industrialization is the key. Now, the more industrialization is the key, a private sector led. Okay. Now, a free Kwame Nkrumah pencil bar. Kwame Nkrumah started building Ghana through industries. Industrial revolution. The Asian miracle, or the Honorable Ken Edana no. Industrial revolution. Oko Dubai in the 70s, it was a desert. Sand dunes. The Zujins and Yandans and other geographical landforms. No camels, beasts of burden, and no Yusu. It took a great leader with a foresight, a great leader or your focus, a great leader or a great leader who have to combine resources to generate employment in their account. And then Dubai aye baby aye the center of trade and investment. I created millionaires and billionaires. Yeah, and the nipa to ba ebekot Dubai for vacation. A man for Ghana for we need to weep. And penny for free I got to dying about Dubai. Emra asase ebuwaha. And to industrialize the honorable care society there. We have an advantage. And what Okachre Abuakwa for say they should be proud of themselves. I put them where they have bauxite in the forest. This is bauxite in the forest.
Yeah.
We cannot even build a smelter. We can't even build a railway line. A whole country go to our airport, you weep and mourn. Babu also be chills in now. A country yet here, a maframan ewu. A country yet here, and the year kasa the year to 2 years and a year. We don't even have an airline. But Ubako airport no. Rwanda airline, Rwanda enya Africa. South African airline enya Africa. Ethiopia airline enya Africa. Kenya airline enya Africa. And the most painful aspect is here on the west, Ivory Coast, a la Côte d'Ivoire airline. That is what. So when I got out of the plane, Bijao says, I say, the drive in Ken is right. We don't even have an airline. And you have built a terminal 3. And the terminal 2 is being underutilized. And you have bauxite and the chef from the too. And you are as a young time woho. And when Honorable is speaking about the private sector, now all employment once more. Now the delegates have begun to understand why we should give him the chance to lead the country. They see the Yako Kesia Anundi Kabia from Honorable Ken and Honorable Ken's camp, and personally for Kencity Media, all the employees and myself, at the Mabusia. Na yem paibo nyina se onyame ohu omo mobo wo mo prepra onyame si fom o mesa wo mo yade wo mo a omo free mu onyame nchechire wo mabusua so ewre na wo mo ade a ebe ma wo re be fi near AC. And to me, when I saw John Domani Mahama, they're trying to do politicking over there, I was shocked. I said, no, this is a big no. Honorable Ken's era. Even the Northern region agenda in itself, people will not rush.
I didn't know home and penny because he's the president. So BBS,
yeah.
I was so cool.
Na kaso na ono de na o ye transparent na obiya who say yes say na akufo-addo no time no de no mo ye kokua mu, and at that point in time it's about looking at the situation. How best can we fix this? Yeah. How do we prevent this from happening?
Exactly.
What other alternatives can I create for the country? Yeah, when we speak, we know what we are talking about. We have seen some before happening. And Honorable Kens or Kasa with passion, you can see say delegates no to pay attention. Now catch the delegates and they say if you take money and you vote for Obia only messenger, because this vote, 31st January 2026 vote, is a vote for your future.
Yeah.
Do we expect Ghana to continue to be this way? Or we expect Ghana to take off on a trajectory of quantum economic leap? As I say, say Ghana, ye benye leader, obe boyen, obe ye niema, obe tu anamon, obe so mabunsa, adiji Ghana tata, ama Ghana empuntuo ene enkoso,
ama say na say pedi obe tumi abuama apeja.
And then no buakwa. You can saw that guy be Kasaya, he made reference say CJB dankwa. Baby I need jana baby CJB dankwa na enye far from there. And you can see the patriotic and the MPPism in Honorable Ken. So when I come, I will keep and maintain the legacy of akufo-addo.
Yeah.
So when you lead the be, obey industrialize this country. You better timber they are called raw. ye betu cocoa de akoro ye betwa e board ye pro ye tomato pro ye jene pro ye potato say abetie ye de banku na ye ne ye be dini sa, and Ghana will continue to bon twetwede bo adadoa. We need to move. Na ye de ho no e de bia rhetorics. Ghana we talk. Honorable Kencity, the talking is too much. Let's stop talking and work. Let's stop talking and walk the talk. And only mabu almost 7 principles of becoming a good businessman and a great leader. The foresight, integrity. No cancer no we no and no end by saying say humility also is the key. Humility. Oh, in the business review, Harvard, or say a good leader should have a will. The resolve, say determination. Determination will break it down. Say a vision. If you have a vision, a very good vision, when you're bold, that is the will, that's the determination, that is the resolve. Mercy in Kete, sing Kete. Said the Ghana tie bia no do nyame dia maye bia onyame nim senti a wode bedua ha enti masin kete se me ma me man eni hia masin kete honorable Ken sacrifice masi nkete then who sin kete ni we are then you need humility enti nkete na honorable wasi no enna ya na yehu no Medi ye minus ho, medi ye party ness ho, yenkete, the fierce result, the determination, the focus, the foresight, the vision for Mabu. And I am peer the body language Musa. And to so way you see your media the woman possibility, you can't do that. And no, you can't do the yenkete see. And the humility ne who say now he's like an angel. He is preaching unity. Without unity, we can't move as a party, because party, the numbers. We need numbers to win, to do party to win an election. And Tina Yana Meka said, the first person, thank you, Tor, Obiano can say, let's give our people amnesty. Now, me say amnesty there is a pardon. A pardon. Now, me name say amnesty there was some limitations be. But your pardon wa, just say, you do bonne action. So go and sin no more. Oh, yes, you see, me do bonne na there action. Name men koye bonne bio. That is me. My common sense understanding
of pardon
of amnesty.
Amnesty, okay.
Why you bonny? My dear to say why you bonny, but me here because ya over yere, over ma, we yiri wa abusia, also over abusia over namfufo. Omo nyina to aba. Enti se me ka se ya wo me yiwa free mu tintintinti. Me ma kwanya bia ma umba mu. And to explain a lot of the 1.7 differentials in a negative manner. You see, who say you good and show like this. Yeah, winning at all costs 2028. Yeah, Ghana fauna in the history of the world. Me who say kotoa baby, not even a president, but an aspirant.
Yeah.
A presidential candidate of a party, not the whole nation, irrespective of your station of life. One will say, this is the person that we want you to bring. Send the pay, Mufane Mrayen. Me who be that?
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that.
Not in the history of the world.
I didn't see that.
Not in Burundi or Swaziland or Zimbabwe. Say yekotoaba in the party's internal election. Now one more party man, one more party ma say So we internal election in the year. Yen they decide who enters the Jubilee House. But yen the person called the Jubilee House no. Yesremo say ahobrasiemu eni nyamisrom Mumfa honorable Ken Ohene Agyapong mre.
And Ramo call to our Eastern region. Muhu Sadi and so on.
Now let me tell you one beautiful thing that happened.
Because
Time ya transe ewo suhum in the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. Honorable was seated. Amawu on the left. His Excellency Asumachreme on the right. And other members of the team.
Big man.
Big man. Etrasi. Honorable Transway ya peno. I was shocked. Me who be that? I saw about 12 young little girls below the age of 16. Omo don omo squatare green. No mukuta bibi say placards, but man to me and read the placards in the so. No mujina gate to no catch skate phone say we just want to shake hands with the next president of Ghana. Yeah, I was say chimi from the trim could see me nasi. Now I just allow them to go. Mumma mofra no kwai no mra benchen na yenu say you know yeah. It happened in history and it happened yesterday. It was mumma mofra no kwai na omra benchen. Na mamun si won benchen ba kwai. Mamun si won dey benchen ba kwai.
Preach on.
Yes.
America for said out of Ghana.
Go ahead.
Brother, go ahead.
Go ahead. When Honorable Louis Farrakhan or Kasana and the Babori just go ahead. Now I'm afraid girls, boys, yeah, I think JSS or whatever it is, no move back inside, no be shaky, Honorable sir. Say, I feel now I was saying, now I whisper to them, say, don't worry, with me, your future is secured. All of a sudden, he said, "Esa be abamofrano and tenuka said, munko na munko siadie." The present trees are taking place here.
Wow.
Benka was
Wow.
Yeah, but suhum run about.
Yeah.
Overhead now. Before you na one we na we number 12 so no. Who say who free Accra na who Kumasi a who bet for the local.
Yeah.
No for akọ Asamankese. No for akọ Kofo Emoho. Now if you go to Asako Joe Kumasi Road. On the left hand side, we say mami fubichi bayre oho. Edwedi fo mami fubi ho. Ogina car. No say ono baba. Madi ne offense and say ono abusika no kra na em say one kind. They have the videos. Sika no one kind. O yi free brown rubber mu. Was say mfanka mu dwetre ho. And they cast a private sector led. Private sector is the engine of growth of the economy of Ghana. Private sector. This is he himself is a private sector. And you say any unknown you must say but we creating the environment. We say we're lining up investors across the world because investors know who a leader, leader sebe or language say. The constitution say uchi obia manika tell him in the language that the person understands. And if me being a strategist, so another strategist, share this here, blue ocean strategy, the red ocean strategy, we know what we are talking about. Now, Honorable Ken is not going to repeat the mistakes of the past. Honorable Ken is not going to be like any of the other leaders. So yes, that means he is staying in the red ocean. Bloody competition is there. Now he is taking Ghana out. Honorable Ken has changed the messaging, has changed even campaign. We're changing Ghana campaign. We'll enter into the blue ocean, uncontested area. Baby, that say your best idea way. Campaign when Ghana ha obi a fabro no de che I have a delegate say more bro almost I so was a brew and a diet corn oil almost here no obia the bottle ba na twi almost a brew sugar ya free kube mu and no the Your course who no other places no. The Council of Elders, the patrons of the party. Oshiegu womusem no mo kahwe almost edo. Now when you do research yaw, one of the healthiest
sugar,
yes, form of sugary. It's kumedia. Enti yaw, the ama me kasa wa eye de see enroy. Areho. Ghana mebun here adwuma aye. Honorable Ken waye bi pen. Chebi a revival here. And Rodumbre, you drop back 603. Chebi, you can see Chebi vibrating. You drew Suhum was humming. You drew a man here. Nipa came from the east and west. No Mugabonton and Buson say, are you also delegates? Almost no, you be TB. And I'm saying, are you MPP? Almost no, yeah, NDC4. But forms now honorable air channel, ye baby. I said, come on, take it. Sir, the motor Desu River. And to delegate what you are supposed to do. At the end of the day, Jubilee House, and then we tell me country is becoming one. I didn't think there was a yaso branch.
Let us say, commercial break we are near call at the share. Na yajen krato ewo omane fm na fi na 2tv na mo ahwe na 2tv no anyama hodo ora ken aye na omo be kakra ama mo ye dan ho aba
NPP, hand in hand. Tuaba, my Kennedy. Oh, man, for power. Kennedy, Agyapong, no, my enemy. Kennedy agenda, Ghana's hopeful plea. For the hopeless, a chance to be free. Jobs for the jobless, a vision so clear. Kennedy, the answer, year after year. Yeah. He's a man for the poor with a heart so kind, a PhD, a brilliant mind, the hope for Ghana, shining so bright, leading us forward with all his might. Tuaba, my Kennedy. No, my Kennedy. Tuaba, my Kennedy. My no. Tuaba, my Kennedy. A man for power. Kennedy, Agyapong. Ghana needs Kennedy to see us through. To build a nation strong and bold, a future of promise to have and to hold. He is number one. He is number one. He is number one. Tuaba, my Kennedy. Tuaba, my Kennedy. What can I do? Agyapong, no, my enemy. Tuaba, my Kennedy. No, Tuaba, my Kennedy. Tuaba, my Kennedy. Oh, man, for power. What can I do? Agyapong, no, my enemy. Vote for Kennedy. Number one. Vote for Kennedy. Let's get it done. Vote for Kennedy. The people's choice. And Kennedy Agyapong. Let's all rejoice. Oh yeah.
Kennedy, when she knew Asante Force, Kennedy, Agyapong Force, Kennedy, well, Force, Kennedy, Zima Force, Kennedy, Agyapong Force, Kennedy, Ayubu Force, Kennedy, Enkra Force, Kennedy, Mendebenta Force, Kennedy, Bana Force, Kennedy, Chokose Force, Kennedy, Dagoma Force, Kongoma Force, Bruma Force, Mam Prusi Force, Basa Force, Kanjaga Force, Enfante Force, Wasa Force, Sergi Force, Latte Force, Kennedy Agyapong never Oceano, Batman never Oceano, one ebay on one ebay on one ebay on one ebay on Canadiana, the Canadiana, a compremo, Kennedy Agyapong never Oceano, Batman never Oceano. Kennedy, when she knew Asante Force, Kennedy, Agyapong Force, Kennedy, well, Force, Kennedy, Zima Force, Kennedy, Agyapong Force, Kennedy, Ayubu Force, Kennedy, Enkra Force, Kennedy, Mendebenta Force, Kennedy, Bana Force, Chokose Force, Dagoma Force, Kongoma Force, Bruma Force, Mam Prusi Force, Basa Force, Kanjaga Force, Enfante Force, Wasa Force, Sergi Force, Latte Force, Kennedy Agyapong never Oceano, Batman never Oceano, Ayodwa.
NPP delegates listen to the call for a leader who can stand up tall. Kencity Agyapong, the man with a plan to uplift Ghana, hand in hand.
Tuaba, my Kennedy. No man, Tuaba, my Kennedy.
My Anyano.
Tuaba, my Kennedy.
Oh man for power.
Kencity Agyapong, no, my enemy. Kennedy agenda, Ghana's hopeful plea for the hopeless, a chance to be free. Jobs for the jobless, a vision so clear. Kennedy the answer, year after year.
He's a man for the poor with a heart so kind, a PhD, a brilliant mind, the hope for Ghana, shining so bright, leading us forward with all his might.
Tuaba, my Kennedy.
No man,
Tuaba, my Kennedy.
My Anyano.
Tuaba, my Kennedy.
Oh man for power.
Kencity Agyapong, no, my enemy, yeah.
Why does see Ghana is true, but Ghana needs Kennedy to see us through.
To build a nation strong and bold, a future of promise to have and to hold. He is number one. He is number one.
He is number one.
Tuaba, my Kennedy. No man. Tuaba, my Kennedy.
My Anyano.
Tuaba, my Kennedy.
Oh man for power.
Kencity Agyapong, no, my enemy, yeah. Tuaba, my Kennedy. No man. Tuaba, my Kennedy.
My Anyano. Kennedy.
Number one.
Vote for Kennedy.
Let's get it.
I was in for I want to say today's agenda suni penifo amino omudi nkomo no lawyer Kotu Amodate and afi Kwabna Frimpong. Kwabna the yedru so proxy ho nsem a ekoso minimum na our headquarters wonte asie mu no de na mampenifo aka se afi we enya de ombe proxy from the camp of Joe Sewusu committee in fact yenua oye treasurer for the party, national treasurer, I was secretary to the committee edin komo and I watch lecture nsema hodo a sisiye ebi obi ho no be ba say ato ama no ansem no akoye nsem no huna bebre but maminti wo
meaning say yamwa finance and administration as a political party say be nipa onya enuhu ana onya nsesan obi a wonsua there from your past, because when you learn from your past there are some mistakes you don't repeat. Into usha enema ede controversies in ede echinyeje ebema menteme ho ase go elections when you say election is free and fair na ye be wie no do be win and so I won genuinely do be lose so and so okay I lost genuinely waje atum enya afi ne ekochinchim obi nsa enya afi ne ekoye niema ye be wie no na afi asama party ni mu atete, because you see ye be wie no nga party no kabuma be ye baako ama yakwa fight the NDs who is our common enemy. It's not among ourselves we are one party members, and whoever delegates no ebe electing the we need each and every one of us in the party. Until we are proxy na there baako offer the confusions be breba, especially say obekwa could do some of the places no polling station ni bi abeduru so bi abeto ama bi di proxy abeto ama
enya brochire for
no it's crew no cry it happens here enya brochire for no nko, and we all know say one way abeduru
no fan council say bia onto abane bi na minim say onto ma me candidate ya na me polling station here obetumi afechira ko hu no atwa bibia ma no na
na say happen o me constituency ya chairman ne share them e wo Noda Hotel. The other election and we got tomorrow the bus what's the process no be ya obek chese bia me so you bring the doctor's report mean availability ma two kwan you show your visa etc. They created the fastest there were two kwan only ha he was here we got to Noda Hotel that didn't ever bontene oh
Adeba say eba even with the police station van say minim say amodate otu obeto amakende nende minim say o amodate ba bi ote ne ho kire ne ma nkoyi na makono amo at any day o de ma 1000 man na 2000 man na now adane dey won show up na ye proxy na age na bi e dey ama kwamna from because na e dey ama ofa mofa because ofa mofa beto am a certain candidate. Are you getting it? It is not about even diaspora for nko, it even happens down here, and ube wie na edinchi wa ashu bebre ba. So as such, as a political party atena fine who approach na person but to take it bra who don't need na to take it bra ni bi to abeto mani pakro fidi gadochi uni ni wa ba betim na we are what call because minimum amount for they've made arrangement they are coming down to come and vote for their preferred candidates. Into aside the party to use in opposition into sisi be ejina no ye be wie no ye pese ye be wie no na bibia pepepe ya den aba na obi obewi ni bia nso abewe, because I love a point lawyer made say for now the focus is already there. So elections are here cause we there were team were coming ya about validation ukra data mi data minim say omo de bema candidates ni na musmu ko review, they will come and meet you ye wie nyina ya dia tum say this is the modalities they call, these are the people who are going to vote. If the adani bedru no measures be as team who put in place, Mr. National they are putting everything in place. If there are things that happened in previous elections abuama additional the iden inform certain decisions now. Minim say definitely I say can say definitely with this proxy thing definitely will be a embo no me can say yekoye yi na mishia one of the regions mishia and say na wufu ya mu ye from the be hadwin am so me say wufu na mu ye from the be hadwin enti all these are plans and strategies that will be a person taking advantage of any elections ever cause. So in the end, a dinner more contesting any agents have more mako and elections committee so meaning say they are bent on say making sure say baby because here na niema anko here committee na da so because here na bibi anko here da meaning say these elections e be a consensus niema bi besisi kra they don't mind even putting it on hold to make sure say the right things are what done and to offer no proxy I support it. Me who say release be about bontia. You say it be no more requested for because the thing involved is that the committee send a report to National Council, National Executive Committee, and National Council for Adoption. Which National Council Agyapong and don't know about bontia press conference no a kasafa ho. And as such, as the council Agyapong as a committee be going back to that issue by share. The way anymore ebe boama election ebe wie no ebe free and fair na obi obe we na bi Agyapong minim say lawyer bebemba of amamenka nkwala na ewu ni kakra na me fama no nsi na
on conclude
na lawyer
and I may disagree with you because you have just amofase and sana be who baby a wo call mofa de kan
and abato so bi anso so
yes
and so mofa de kan
mofa so call and so no abato no ayeto no enye abato like you are saying any NDC for
no
yeah na ye odeshia obedi
akonya na ato
into the kawakasa ye bia say act be so ye fraudulent act na act be a criminal offense it has no limitation.
Okay, it virus we are now the other one offer in fact and I say asem no ebo me pusa in fact I was saddened say mama bunu no ma sorry no so nyes why e bono opadwuma ye na what him say the issue here is that enya crown kwa na incidents ni see you go to Ashanti region you see the past 6 critical condition hospitals this year. And it's not just only Accra, it was across. Just said, offer unim. The disheartening thing is that even no more number we are so bring this slot, yeah, tell me that. Meaning for a fact, NDC MPB, I am more MPB are 10. Any part 10, they are more. They are Ebeko constituency party or Mayo. They are called Council of State. My any part 4,000 pen over. They are Jubilee House. Now, Fadia Mo for sponsors, communicators, radio for Kasama Omo, I am for almost side in Amai. And you see,
and they say, oh, my
they say, they are just wasting that. Offer her as occupational and safety, health and environmental management, we have crab masters woman. You see, you can't tell me, say,
Ocha.
A nipa emotion, yes. Ultimate can't tell me, say, more advertising a day, unim say nipa 50,000 I apply our mobile bay. Our process in a 1 day process. The reason why no more Russia do Munina Boguma, a clock, I said, Wako US embassy now go interview, but see a clock. So you are more hearing, Okasa, you don't qualify near Pamoza as a co. A been a non combabayeno. Because genuinely, if they were going to employ the people of a over schedule almost in smaller batches, whereby you even have huger numbers. Would the screening officers nipa bebre the baba no acheche bebre ebinkwa and on standby should always be our ambulance service for and together with ebi amone Ministry of Health be negotiating no mama nurses for on standby for people for such emergencies. And again we didn't very well say bi akwakoye Kumasi Sports Stadium no the night before na say we be na ebi ankrofo no mo guided to see to return obi obebe okay yes lie any number 1 start setting arrangement for obi aba on transfer and composing said e be ya mu wi you can work them in smaller numbers na more screening processes ni na ma na ye kama but yes the case say ya tum na nkola se bi abegina as early as 2 a.m. Abobe anopabe 7 or 8 still ye me ade ntipu amanfo ofro say omo be jampo asi inside. Where does this happen? And you see officers who were in charge, the military people who were in charge, and even the defense minister and the government in itself. So we dream or more, that's what we can be. Is this the process that you were going to do? The information I mean was that they have politicized the thing to the extent that your competent people who manage this, but those people are presumably say yes, MPP for. Do you confess say do call class or any public 10,000 they will not have to even 10 people to go and manage such huge crowd of people who's just seeking employment in the ground. Sort in your cherry. Am before me as well because the process is my yard minimal such processes are done. Get me kai say ye bar for now lawyer Justin could be from Ponicha my team. Now omo brave no I gave every constituency two every constituency can attest because me have the data there. The first time I think that was it December 2022 or so. I am a constituency BR22 no. This was a process a year no meaning say with data wa party people benefited idea my aye. This what has happened is unfortunate and I think say it was a process just because the slot na maintain ya mo megum na yan clear so of our bias wo na etare from you o why pamo sana na dey claim nyina mo free mo
we say areho but
it's very sad
price for na ya adman no pay Franco say men kan kire say one appliances o moton no o mo de foforo kra ba hye no so fama me o pe air conditioner to o pe tape o pe iron open refrigerator sani mani nyina no pe bi ato a obenya Franco Trading Enterprise ono san was CCTV cameras va Ghana ha Franco nkwani company asa wo pe bi ato ngo na bi ni ho the next 24 hours o metumi akra e de ama ono aka ya share nso ko online francotrading.com ko a mani nyina wo ho e be ma obi na won so wato o pe se family ofi a very simple but o ma outlet no do so nti 0555939311 0555 939311 number is 0555939311 no akash and so say on main office no adabraka mo adabraka na ne Roxy cinema na hwe ni mo fa ho a na so wakobo ani akoma na afo api bibia to ye ma up to 40% discount bibia obeto ho bia kai na hye so Franco osi phones papa fee cancer ye kwa ko wie enti ni apesa o ka edutwa na so disagree with him or and say bia akeka ho
say on say no see the more but history is beautiful. Never when the present condition of womb. Now say okay, this is my vision, this is my prediction for the country. This is my forecast where I want to take the country. You look at the precedent in law, the stare decisis in common law practice. So you can make an educated guess into the future. And see, the almost a pros in the other time. Who say, many are on the MPP constitution. MPP constitution is very, very, very straightforward.
Oh, proxy no.
Baby, everyone in the party and number 02 in terms of procedure, in terms of a name, organization. How are elections? Now, minim se baby in the constitution of MPP no. Was this a beto presidential election? And was a committee be the election committee in consultation with NEC. And was say omudi the governing rules and regulations. Say if I'm quoting wrongly, tell me. You are the embodiment of the constitution. Una de mami. And what some of the rules and regulations are about govern the presidential election. Beboa. And they are no friendly the code of conduct. And it is a constitution catch or say money rules be say it's like a CI. It's an institutional instrument. Beboa. Or say mon fa na mon fa rules no mra. Na e de govern there no. And that rules and regulation on the code of conduct no or validity
from the
strength from the MPP constitution. Hallelujah. First time now you're quiet no only that rules no buy. The question therefore is rules normally buy no you disu to the T the verbatim of the rules. We need to understand One tia ya na mu bi no tembiana we are making references because asrewa ochse ne batua no ina ni ba kwato nche enam de akroma de aye nti.
And the first one baby CC ya.
Or the rules which you say your man transparent. Monye proxy vote ye tiase monye proxy vote e bi to top proxy vote ye chibi mu share dem monye sa ne ma we nyina. Your man ye fair obia wo one vote yem vote ade no na obia so munyo no and sisa e wo stream and Nora honorable can pass a comment on that e wo chebi and sisa minua and sisa e wo stream ya na man for say my agent the D-Day that's a party talking about D-Day next year all these rules and regulations na a free constitution you committee are responsible for party. Yeah, party makoto aba. Na yeto aba wi a. Yetimika say this is coming from somewhere. Monfa body nyina ma one person. Yeah, on say ye can man for say this but it is so important. Monfa body nyina ma one person at that time. Ye wi a na be stadium na nipa na sa. Say nipa no I'm being straightforward. Yeah. And your money happens because sir Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia na akufo-addo o ma kire e kwan o.
Ndimo ko fa so.
E kwan o mo kire ni say. Ekwa mo kire ni say se yeto abawie
ne kan wie ne pejo winza no yeto abawie ne kan wie
na se mo hwe the pink sheet mo hwe ne ma na hwehura bi wo mu a na no say the rule of law
we go court
and you do ochudru ha ne pe ne danta and ye no ya na ye pese party tias enti da we ono ken and no kasa no oka no or the unity of the party yemanye fair yemanye transparent the unity of the party yemanye fair yemanye transparent
and so far so no can
and he said say the free simba ahemfunu bia catch on crofo say se mo anto aba we na wutie ya ama munua ye beje wasase afunu sem ye betu afiri ho na obase hade a this is not tribalism obase hade a oh Mr. Monto mami oh Mr. Munyem say Mr. Munyem say when munyina koso and it's a money nam we have validation yani nam and obi awu we yi dey free mu yani nam and away ya forfeit yem fa number na McMahon will issue some statement bia when I read I don't understand it. The party chairman see amnesty what you see oh you say no mushia suspended mushia say what machinations. Oh, bibi wo in law FN appearance. The behavior and the appearance of omoneme bia omoye no is pointing to one and only one irresistible conclusion. One and only one irresistible conclusion. Na yen tra ho am first no yen ka say nwenwe na o maba me so na maba wi am ne ma na ehurahura me na ya fro amodate ye be ye wuse ni sa de no masa some of us I'm possessed by the spirit of Victor Usu, who was one of the greatest and the finest lawyer who happens to be my cousin. I stand for the truth, and I stand for the integrity, and I stand for this party's unity because my blood is in this party. Etienne Chetra Ho. Remember me MPP ni, papa ye MPP ni, my cousin ya flag bearer pay. And I will tell me, oh my me ye DB ni, oh papa ye DB ni. Yen Chetra Ho yaw. You see that I'm going to anti-immunity how much say you call boom is you call share Tescom you say you call say there's no prosy a tini ginase you tini ginase hey council EFS or say wusu you tini ginase but the onus is not on us to ensure fair and transparency at the end of the day. The onus is on them. The election committee.
Okay. What he was saying is Obian so on the rep was exercise here
yeah, they are agents. Not original agents in here. And I'm pam hajia money for motu. Any Gani we actually told them. Not original agents in here. And I'm bo ala ni penny man who ye. What I say? And mom said they are oblivious to all these things. A debe lessons na a debe measures no do two places in such a way say a two aba no wale wia what honorable got will be counted as what honorable has gotten. See, a two abanu or what measures are they? And they should not tell us, say, in consultation, in collaboration, we are dealing with the EC and the Yatiabre. Yatiabre. And Tina honorable Ken, and I was stating categorically, say, yen ye pe peace, yen ye pe unity of the party. We don't want the party say emubetiti. And nam saying Tino. And about to na ye kotono. Wo timi wakame. Ahunehuna sem. We na ye hunehuna we. Ena we ye minua. Enti me to aba man to aba na mamunua no ha. Ye beje wasase afiri usem. Ye beye use. Ye kan ye se bia mpanimfo no enti yo. Ye call ye obeka say I na mo nye complain. Let me tell you, so be kum nipa. Ye catch the police obi te say ye cast kosi bedu wa kum nipa. Police for work investigation. In term immediately. Party ni ye no. I didn't know I say mo buy mo say mo ko free for feature for mo mra metrase. O mo ya suspend mo ye metrase. Mo ye say ni say ye be say so everybody we ma atre ade free abrochire e de aba. Na time ye to aba no yawo. Yeah, the constitution says venue utie.
Nitie pa.
Yawo, me no sutie mi bi. Constitution says venue. Yeah, you name say venue is a singular place. Now they in their own wisdom or such wisdom and others' wisdom. And you interpret say venues. Yeah, you tune baby sisters no. Diasporans no. Maybe ya diaspora no. Some of plane e beto abano e wo headquarters. Omo plane beto abano e wo they came and vote. Now mo titiro say afedie mo pe proxy. There's not going to be proxy. Almost stating it categorically, there's not going to be proxy. It's a constitutional instrument. The rules and regulation takes its validity from the constitution of the MPP. There's not going to be proxy. The question therefore is, of Connecticut, I read the petition. No, what is almost capacity? I don't care. You can run another yard, Connecticut chairman, Eastern chairman here. Where is your party card as a proof? Number church already about prosy. Number to start on farm you know baby I will be standing. The question is say, what more would you know? At the end of the say, what money also and the course I'm meeting now, supposedly.
The album must be updated on an ongoing basis. There should be a system in place to ensure that this is done. Sylvester sorry, and a day way by Overcorasa for marching. And he says, you know that there was a stampede at Kumasi, but nobody died. That is why it is no news. The number was less because the army does not have the cash to send more men. It is true, they sent only about 10. Oh, okay. So the nakwabna o kan Overcorasa upon na utie. Okay. Over here that say I say one the nipa 10 na call so mo nkɔ hwe say na wo kan because sika eni ho. David Oredu says I'm enjoying the program as usual. Opening also here that say ye kwa ko via no ye bre aso get connected, let Ken lead. Good morning to lawyer Kweku Amodate. Redu Boahi na on so the way by. Redu also na wase. Cancer. Yeah. Ye pon ano no.
Me conclude no. Eya na eya say MPP ye pe power. Yemfa honorable Canberra. MPP we shouldn't make that mistake. Almost say first one no me dey na meka no ha. Omuchinchimi yensa. Yeah. But we never had 61% as they are saying.
Nyonya na reflective national election.
Honorable Ken or Agyapong when ya 37, onya more than 37.
Yeah.
But omuchinchimi yensa. Na say we be just stadium wa. Na mo yes anti na kasa ya party ni yedie mu hia o. Hwe upe party a o believe in transparency, fairness, accountability, rule of law, governance, and democracy, MPP. From the time of your party, throughout history, from UP all the way time to PFP ebe endi wo MPP no mu no ati ase say MPP free PF mu ne ba ebe endi wo mu no democracy ni se ma meka ye nyina na atete party no edi ebe ne ba Secretary Jamasi de tell me ka Secretary Jamasi no e ofa kwamra sapon edi a edi ebe ne ba Secretary Jamasi ntia
atwene
ana ye to aba na MPP pa e to aba na de zero ahye obi anim na ya mu fo ni nyina ma obi because at all costs and a Ghana for who say hey I'm telling you is that what is going on until even the northern region you lose numbers this is not about say obi hey so na obi ya market na person no your call so say honorable can ya na reho say who say your car no ba na your branded cars na honorable can picture about ho no enipa die America be can you ebi so ni keke ehun no keke I saw some woman be some boy be ewo baby tabaka ne ba no na boy na frudua enti me catch lawyers match them say every boy net na go ni owo hin na say even Zacchaeus abagana no you see yaw say ye di agro Zacchaeus kura abagana e be say honorable ken enti honorable ken asema kan eye fuawa tiawa and they say mumma be chance this time around na me use me business acumen maniso ade huna etese nyuma biebie no because there's no single person obaye president wa ha onyusu sa word way that the private sector this sentence the private sector is the engine of growth now obi fi private sector eba be manage the private sector okay
there's no a president at that word no
there is no
sector
led and our private sector is the engine of growth it's a statement
okay
Kwame Nkrumah aka Buzia aka even president no Rawlings are metamorphosized from a military rule to a private sector okay President Kofo private sector President may he so rest in peace Mills private sector John Dramani Mahama private sector is the engine of growth President akufo-addo private sector is the engine of growth even digitalization okay is all about the private sector as the engine of growth and somebody who is a private sector person
okay
would name say the engine of growth why or do grow the economy of Ghana in its own way and my government less than 200,000 given the population of this country which is so painful to see that na private sector they say mumma me akunwa ne mame na me use me ideas in the private sector may they building companies factories trying to industrialize the country munim say eno na beboa obi aka say private sector is the engine of growth upa me yemfa obi wa head SME yemfa all the bankers governor of Bank of Ghana yemfa we obi a private sector is the engine of growth me lead the private sector me expand the private sector yen use your raw materials na e wa ha no ye add value nie na me dey me nko ba bia me kasa aburu a de me di baye nie me kasa banchia de me di baye nie me kasa tomato juice nie me kasa we a bayra chips nie me kasa amunchia enu nie me kasa share batania de dia ye nie odine nyina kire as a product physical thing that you can touch physical things physical demonstration and what you say yeah and therefore ahobrasiemu ene achopemu baby Ghana yadru no yasemu ayeni ayaka say private sector is the engine of growth no delegacy pamocho mama private sector person honorable Ken hine Agyapong mama elect no yemfa baton no manu no me grow the economy of Ghana.
Me da say President akufo-addo ba ya de ba kwana Ghana for any da so pa ye one district one factory. Na nso so na nya ban na eye. Na ya nkrankre na eye. Eno no ura mo da te ka say nei asa nkrankre no mu ba ko a woni ma nkrankre nyuma na osan so ye politician na edru say nyina be ke ho abom. Na ma kwan na sansem ampanimfo no aka no wabedi animu ama etumi abi enuma ahodo no ama obi anso anya bi aye yɛna production team no nyinaa ase wɔn mɛboa yɛ ɛwɔ radio afei on TV yɛna focus Elikem ɛna Elder Kwesininsi yɛna wase wɔn waka nso yɛde aseda ɛde ma obi abɛntɛ ma yɛna wase wɔn nso ɛwɔ MCR na wɔn wase mpanimfo wɔn bɛboa yɛ lɔya mo ɛna afei kwabra sapɔn yɛna wase medin ɛde yɛ amofa boa nyame yɛ adoma ɔkyena nɔpa efiada yɛhyia kwabra frempɔn
wala
krabo ɛna me akrabo
kama ba foforɔ na mene ɔno na na ɛhwu
garlic.